Welcome back to the Full Force Fathers podcast. Dave, how are you today? Christmas is now beyond us just by a couple days, and we are looking dead ahead at the new year.
Yeah, it is. It was a great Christmas. How was your Christmas? Santa show up?
Unfortunately, the big guy came down the chimney and showed up and left a bunch of stuff under the tree. So the girls, they had a good Christmas. The usual,
Wait,
not much changes with us on Christmas. Did you say
unfortunately? You said unfortunately.
Yeah, it's just more stuff. I feel like Dave right now. It's just more stuff in my house. That's all it is.
You sound like the Grinch. You sound like me.
You're rubbing off on me a little bit, I think.
That must be it.
But no, it was good. Typical Christmas Eve. Went to church, did our thing. And then Christmas Day, Andine's father came over when the girls opened presents and the whole thing. We did a big breakfast. Did a small roast for dinner, and that's about it. How about you? What'd you guys do?
Yeah, we hung out by ourselves. We went to Mass on Christmas Eve. But other than that, we hung out here by ourselves because, as you can tell, I'm in a new location today. We are in Thompson Station, Tennessee. So no longer in the state of Arizona. So we don't know anybody here. So it was quiet Christmas, which, ended up being pretty good. I'm okay with that.
Did you guys have, so obviously you found a church. Do you feel like you like it? I mean, it's hard to judge. You've only been there for a couple of weeks. I mean, did you like it? Did you not like it?
Yeah,
what is it? Is it big parish, small parish?
Yeah, pretty good size. There's a lot of churches here. I mean, we are right in the Bible Belt down here, so there's a lot of options. This is the one that was closest to home, so I think we're going to give that a good try and see if we feel like we fit in there. But lots of options here, so we'll see.
Was it a Catholic church or is it like a Christian church? Baptist? Because I know you're in the Bible Belt. So the South. What was it? A Catholic church?
It's a Catholic church. So, but yeah, it is mostly Christian churches around. But this is Catholic. It's the only one in our town that's Catholic. There's a few other Christian churches, but this is the only Catholic church. So, we'll see.
So let me just. I'm going to need a whole hand. I think maybe two hands. Let's count how many places you've done episodes from this year. We now are in Thompson Station, Tennessee, wow. Austin, Texas, your living room. Mm-hmm. We did a show together in your Arizona living room. You had the former office.
Yep.
You did your dining room when you were moving. Yep. What else am I missing?
Yep. My Com Sovereign office.
Oh, yeah, the other office at the old job. So for all the listeners out there, Dave, I want to let me play interviewer, and you are the interviewee. Number one, everybody wants to know, what's Tennessee like? Are you liking it? Are you not liking it? I mean, you haven't been there very long. I know the weather. Just kind of give everyone, all the listeners, a Tennessee rundown.
Yeah, I keep telling myself and telling Casey and the kids, it's hard to compare the best time of the year in Tucson, Arizona, which is pretty much from October through March, to possibly the worst time of the year in Tennessee. So the weather has been a bit of a problem. I think I've seen the sun a total of 3 days, although it's coming through today, so that's a win. It hasn't been many days with the sun. There's been rain. Last week, a couple days before Christmas, the high temperature was 11. When I woke up, it was -3, and there was snow on the ground. So that's taking a bit of an adjustment. Much harder to get places here than it is in Arizona. Arizona, so many planned communities. You've got 2-3 lanes of traffic going every direction. Here, it's like backcountry roads, and there's a lot of people, and it gets really, really congested. Now, that being said, it's nice to see trees again, grass again. We were throwing the football around on the front lawn the other day. I've got a bigger garage here, so I got more room for my tools and things like that, which is great. We got a bigger yard, so the kids are loving that. We got the kids in school, so it's supposed to be really good schools in the county that we're in. So TBD on that, on if it's truly that or not, but it seems like it. Overall, I mean, it's going to take some getting used to. We bought the house sight unseen. Don't ever do that. I would caution against anyone ever doing such a thing. So we're working through some of those fun things that we found in the house. The job is great. Love the job. which is why we're here. So that's a good thing. And I'm sure as the sun starts coming out more, as spring starts to, come around, stuff starts popping out of the ground, I think we'll probably like it a little bit more than we do right now. But, it's definitely a culture shock and an adjustment. And actually, I was telling you this story the other day. I might as well share it with everybody who's listening. The other night, Kendall and I went out to run an errand together, and she goes, "Hey, Dad, how do you like your new job? Do you love it there?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, this is great that she's asking me, how I like my new job." How I like my new job. And I was like, "Yeah, Kendall, I really do. I love it. I feel like it's a great fit for me. I can't believe like this is actually coming to fruition." And I said, and she's like, "Oh, okay." And I was like, "Well, you sound disappointed." I said, "Were you hoping that I was going to say I thought the job was terrible, so we'd pack our crap and move back to Tucson?" She's like, "Yeah." So I think the kids are having a tough adjustment too, but we'll get there. Yeah.
No, that's seriously, you had that cold front, which we're getting a few days behind you. So as you can see, I have a winter hat on. Granted, I love winter hats. That's about the only thing I like about the East Coast is I get to wear winter hats more. But that cold front where you guys got the negative temps, we didn't get that kind of temperature wise, but we did have single digits with the wind chill at night, daytime highs, which is very unusual in Southern Virginia. This past couple of days have only been in the 30s for highs. But it is looking up. Both of us are going to experience some 60s again here in the next few days, which is nice. So I am not a fan of cold weather. Mm-hmm. You're not a fan of cold weather. But I'm glad to hear everything's going well in Tennessee. I mean, definitely an adjustment period, but you'll get there. It is what it is. You'll adjust, and the job, having the job that you like really helps, and having Casey having a job that works from home really helps, and whatnot. So, mm-hmm. But yeah. So anyway, so today's episode, guys, is our New Year's episode. Essentially, 2023 is just 4 days away, which is kind of hard to believe. That we are going to have another year under our belt, the fastest year of my life, Dave. I'm not sure about yourself, but in my opinion, this was the fastest year I've ever experienced. Just a blink of an eye blur between work and, I've had three, switch companies once, 3 different, jobs. I know you have had a wild year, moved across the country, had 3 or 4 different jobs. At one point, I think you were working 4 jobs at once. It's just tremendous what 2022 brought. I think it was a good, overall really good year. I like to look at every year as a good year. But it is 2023 coming, so it's going to be here real soon. And today's episode is kind of just a year in review, and also a look ahead to 2023. I mean, everyone's New Year's resolution that they're not going to follow through with is only a week away. So, with that being said, Dave, I'm going to hop into the Bible verse. And the best thing about today's Bible verse is Dave picked the book for the book recommendation today. It is a book that we both have read. And he had not seen the Bible verse that I had put in the show notes before he picked the book. And I just think it's awesome how right before the show, I said, Dave, I grabbed the book because I have a copy of it. He has a copy of it. And I said, dude, I don't know if you noticed, but the Bible verse is literally ties in perfectly to the book that you picked. Just so strange and random how that worked. But today, and also today is episode number 42. We are 10 weeks away from 1 full year of not missing a beat, not missing a week, not missing an episode, which, not to pat myself on the back or you on the back, but I think it's a pretty damn good accomplishment so far. 42 weeks in a row. And we are about to bust out a bona fide number 1 seed in the jersey number tournament that we've been going on. I mean, it is a rock solid number 1. I don't know if it's the number 1 overall seed, but it is a rock solid number 1 seed. If this was the college football playoff, this team is in the top 4 if we're going off resume. So, but anyways, before we get started now, let's jump into today's Bible verse. It comes from Hebrews chapter 10, and it's verses 24 and 25. And it reads, "And let us consider how we may spur one another on toward love and good deeds, not giving up meeting together, as some are in the habit of doing, but encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day approaching." Now, there's a lot of little tidbits. This Bible verse hits so many places. Team environment, having someone that has your back, having a good environment like Full Force Fathers behind you, it also, believe it or not, depending on how in depth you read into the Bible verse, it also kind of ties into what we've been experiencing these last couple of years during this whatever you call it, Chinese virus, COVID nonsense years that we've been dealing with. Because if you really dig deep into it, it does mention not giving up meeting together as some are in the habit of doing. Now, the Bible was written a long, long time ago, but if that doesn't tie into what we've experienced for the last 2 years of not being together, not doing anything face to face, and getting out of those habits, and now all of a sudden we're coming in on 2023 and we're starting to see that again, right, Dave? When you and I have been saying it the whole time, dude, we need to be face to face. We need to meet up. We need those things. So I just think it's really, really interesting, today's Bible verse, and how it ties into what Full Force Fathers is at its very core, as a team, as we are a team of dads, giving it our all, living a full force life, helping each other out, and also the aspect of what we've been living through for the last couple of years. So that's today's Bible verse, Dave. What do you, I want to jump on that a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, it ties in so well to what we're doing as Full Force Fathers. And, you said, the last couple of years, what we've been going through. In a couple months, this is going to be 3 years since it started, which is hard to believe. And you think about the amount of time that people have been away from each other, have been out of their normal work environment or out of normal classroom environments, social settings. I mean, you still see people walking around with masks on, and some people are still scared. Some people aren't, some people are, but it's still just not, it's not what it was. And it probably, quite honestly, is never going to be what it was. But I think this speaks so true to the fact that it's so important to be together and spend time together. That piece of our world, that we're humans, we need that social interaction. And without it, I think we've seen over the last few years the toll that it has taken on our kids, on our friends, on our family, our coworkers. It has taken a huge toll. So let's get back to it. Let's not give up on meeting together, as this verse says.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it is. It's really one of those Bible verses that it touches on so many topics in just, one sentence. I mean, let us consider how we may spur one another towards love and good deeds. Boom, that's Full Force Fathers right there in a nutshell. And then just instantly, turns into not giving up meeting together as some are in the habit of doing, but encouraging one another. It's just, Hebrews is a longer book in the Bible. It's probably not one that gets as much attention as a lot of the other books that, the mainstream books in the Bible. Obviously Genesis and the beginning of the Bible, and then all the New Testament stuff, John and all the books back there, and Luke and Matthew and Mark and stuff. But yeah, so let's shift here. We got to talk about this number 1 seed right here. Number 42. The list is long, and it is just full of superstars. All right. Number 42, the first, you don't even need to Google number 42 to get some of these numbers. Obviously, first and foremost, Jackie Robinson. That right there puts this in the category of a number 1 seed alone. And then you follow up the likes of Jackie Robinson with the greatest closer who we both couldn't stand as a player for the Yankees, Mariano Rivera, right? You got Mariano, you got Jackie Robinson. I'll go through some baseball names. I mean, it's absolutely insane. Dude, Red Sox legend Mo Vaughn, right? He's probably, he doesn't even start on this team. He's a bench player. He's like the second, he's the second or third guy off the bench. But Ronnie Lott, I mean, look at these guys. I mean, go ahead, keep the list going. It's insane, the guys on this list.
How about James Worthy?
Legend at North Carolina, and then with the Lakers.
Great James Worthy. Yeah, I mean, unbelievable. Kevin Love is on the list.
Yep.
Paul Warfield, Nate Thurman. I mean, the list just keeps going. Pick up a couple more, because we're only probably halfway through.
The funny thing about Kevin Love, because everyone knows Kevin Love with Cleveland wore 0. He actually didn't wear 42 in Cleveland. He wore 42 when he got drafted out of UCLA and played for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Mm-hmm. The reason why he didn't wear 42 in Cleveland is because of the guy you mentioned. Nate Thurman, who played for Cleveland, has number 42 retired in the rafters there, so he couldn't even use that number when he got to Cleveland. He had to change the number.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, you got Paul Warfield, you got Charlie Taylor. I mean, Dave Henderson, Cy Young winner Bruce Sutter. I mean, Elton Brand. We couldn't stand Elton Brand at Duke, right? He played at Duke, but we beat him. I'll never forget when we beat him. Okafor beat him, and Ben Gordon in the Final Four. That team was supposed to be so good with Elton Brand. I mean, and then you mentioned this guy, Jerry Stackhouse.
Jerry Stackhouse.
Yeah, you mentioned Jerry Stackhouse. You didn't even need to look it up to know Jerry Stackhouse was a 42. I mean, this Kevin Willis, one of the greatest role players in NBA history. Like, this list is crazy good.
Yeah, it is. I mean, we had a little bit of a slump of numbers for a bit where they were kind of dropping down in our tournament style bracket, but man, this one is there. Number 42. It's an all timer.
I mean, we've had some great ones. We've had some great numbers so far, but to think, obviously Jordan is a 1 seed based on Jordan alone wearing 23, but 24 was great. You had Kobe. You had, Jeff Gordon if you do NASCAR racing. You had Larry Bird, 33, 32, 33, 34 were all unbelievable
32,
numbers.
33, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
but
this is a good tournament we put together.
This is a 1 seed. This is kind of like 99 UConn, 32-2 got the 1 seed out west and then won their first title. That's the type of team.
So I'm glad you went there. Because I was going to go there. Okay. Because UConn in this current moment is 13-0.
Yep.
The last time they were 13-0 was 98-99.
Yeah.
Okay. And they are positioned this year, I think, for a number 1 seed. They look dominant. They have not won a game by less than double digits. Everything's been a double-digit win. They had a little trouble with Georgetown last week, but they put it together and ended up beating them pretty good. But this team's really good, and best start since the championship year. So we'll see.
Well, we'll see. Obviously, Dave and I are both UConn fans. This is not the 99 team, so don't even think for a second. This is a weak college basketball year in general. But that 99 college basketball season was
not college basketball from then either.
Yeah, well, that 99 season, everybody forgets how good that 99 season was. It wasn't just UConn and Duke that year. You had Kentucky. I mean, you had so many teams that were so good in the late 90s. And that was just, and I also still would argue with you that Hurley's not the guy, but that's, listen, I'm not going to knock him this year. He's 13-0. The guy's never won a game in the tournament before, but he's 13-0 this year, so we're going to run with it. Which makes me excited. It makes my dad excited. Every time I talk to him in the morning now, he's all pumped about UConn basketball again, which is a good thing because, as you know, when you live in New England, and especially when you live in the northwest corner of Connecticut, dude, you bleed navy blue. You love UConn. There's no doubt about it.
Yep.
So anyways, we got a number 1 seed in number 42, and let's jump into today's episode. Okay, today's episode it's our year in review. It's our looking ahead. So it's a review and a look ahead type of year. Okay, a type of show. And, first and foremost, we want to just recognize our own accomplishment for starting Full Force Fathers. What started out as an idea in January, so 12 months ago, we have now turned into a 42-episode podcast, have not missed a week. Consistency has been the key. We have done it. Now we have, it hasn't been linear. It hasn't been a perfect straight line where every Monday we hit record. We've had to battle around some issues of, bad internet or travel or whatever the hell may be. But we have consistently every single Tuesday since we started this show, we have put an episode out. And I think that's a big deal. And we've grown the show. This show is entirely organic. We don't pay for advertising. We never have, never will. The only way this show has grown is by word of mouth, has been by us just sharing it on our social media sites, and talking to people about it. So with that, I just, I want to just say, dude, this has been awesome. This has been awesome. 42 weeks in a row, Dave. I mean, there's something to be said for that.
Absolutely, there is. Like you said, there was this idea that popped up we were both out for a workout, basically 12 months ago, having this conversation of what could be. And we've done it. We put it together. I think we've grown a lot over the last 12 months doing this show from when we were putting our first ideas together to when we first clicked record. We've had different software, different backgrounds. We've been, now we're more comfortable doing it. And it's been a great 42 weeks. And I think the best part is that we're just getting started.
Yeah,
I'm excited for this year. For everything we have planned. And I think everybody that listens to the show will enjoy it as well.
Yeah, we started this. I'll never forget. I was outside in the field with Madison, and I had wheelbarrows full of dirt. We were filling holes for the horse, so the horse wouldn't step in any holes. And we just got going, dude. And it ended up being like a 2-hour conversation, and it was just wild. And to know that we started with that conversation, and then it really was about a week or so later where we were just jotting ideas down on a piece of paper, and then we created a Google Sheets, and we had like 15 tabs in that Google Sheets, and then we went from a Google Sheet to a Google Doc. And now all of our shows, thank God for the cloud. If it ever went down, we'd be in big trouble because we have 75 pages. We have a whole entire book of show notes from episode 1 to now. It's awesome. It really is something super cool. So, that, of all the things we've accomplished and different jobs and different places we've lived this year, this is number one. We did this, we created this, and here we are still going strong. With no signs of stopping.
Yeah, no signs of stopping. And you said it right in the beginning, the fact that it's been consistent, and there has been a lot. There's been a lot of things that have happened this year as things happen in everybody's lives. But as we preach on this show as Full Force Fathers, consistency is everything. Discipline is everything. And we kept it going. Yes, we did have to work around some weird things. We did that. We kept bringing the content. We will continue to bring the content. And that's the point, right? It's to continue to do the things are important, not just in podcasts, but in your fitness, in your finances, in your faith, doing all those things on a consistent basis. Because as if anything this last year has shown us by doing this consistently is that it's gotten better. It's gotten it's gotten more fun. It just everything. It starts flowing better.
Yeah, you are 100% right on that. And yeah, we started with some different software, and it's we've both grown on the microphone. In terms of just not that we have expensive cameras and this crazy camera presence, but the fact that we've grown on mics and more comfortable with each other, and we have the structure of the show has developed over time, and we've created this jersey number, kind of round this tournament style that we've created. The structure and the planning and the consistency is certainly there. And like I said, enough can't be said about what we've done and what we've accomplished so far. Like I said, it's just the beginning. We haven't even gained any momentum yet. This is just, two friends on a microphone that are just have similar likes, but we go at each other when we disagree about stuff. I just think it's a good blend, and it's a good mix of what we've created here. And that's, that's the thing. And that kind of ties into what I want to say first and foremost about today's episode, in a sense. And that is, obviously it's a new year coming up. We're 4 days away from New Year's Eve and about to be 2023. And, new goals, whether you have financial goals or fitness goals, or, I'm pretty sure the 3 biggest New Year's, whatever you call them, resolutions, the 3 biggest resolutions are to get in shape, get in better financial position, get out of debt, whatever that category, that fault. There's always a financial, there's always a fitness. I wish the third one was faith, but actually, after listening to your employer the other day, the third most popular New Year's resolution is to quit smoking. I didn't even know people smoke anymore. Like when we were kids, smoking was like everybody smoked. I just don't see a lot of people that smoke anymore. Like where I live, I live out in the country. There are people that smoke, but definitely more people smoke on the East Coast, I think, than where we lived out in Arizona, because Arizona is just such a healthier community in general. A lot more people are outside and doing things. Not to say that people don't smoke out west, but I just think it's more of an East Coast thing, more of a depressed, seasonal depression, weather shit, kind of thing. But anyways, those are the big 3 for everyone. Take the smoking out. 2 of those 3 are what we do here at Full Force Fathers: finances and fitness, right? But the most important thing I can say, and you can back me up or you can kind of put your own spin on it, is this. I just think, dude, having a goal for or a resolution for New Year's is great. That's great. Awesome. I'm super happy to hear that. But like, I don't want you to fall into the trap of the New Year's resolution, okay? Because that is the most common thing. For as much as everyone's resolutions are the same every year, if there's anything more common and consistent than people having the same resolutions, it's how many people fail at those resolutions, right? Don't fall into the trap that most everybody does when it comes to New Year. Because, yeah, if your goal is to lose weight or get out of debt or whatever the case may be, we talk about it. We probably say this word at least once an episode. Like, if you don't create your daily disciplines, then, you're not going to accomplish shit. You know what I mean? Because if you don't create that daily discipline first, then you are not going to accomplish your goal. All right. It may sound I'm not trying to sound harsh. I'm just telling you how it is. It's the truth. Most people are going to go hard for 2 to 3 weeks. They're going to ride that little bit of momentum that they have because everyone else is in the gym or everyone else is doing this and everyone's doing that and everybody's New Year's resolution. They're going to go hard for 2 to 3 weeks, but they're going to fall right off the map. And that's not because they don't want to lose the weight or they don't want to get financially fit. They just have no discipline. They create zero discipline with those goals. They create zero habits with those goals. I like to use like a surfing analogy, right? Most people are just riding the New Year's wave. That's it. Dude, it's a big wave that comes on. Everybody gets on their surfboard and rides that fucking wave. And guess what happens? Every wave, Dave, crashes into shore. Every single wave. No matter how big it is, whether it's a tidal wave or it's a 2-footer at Squam, those waves crash into shore and everybody falls off the New Year's wave. It's the people that ride that wave, get back on the surfboard after they crash, paddle back out and get on the wave again.
Yeah. Well, and I think there's a big difference too between resolution, a New Year's resolution, and an actual goal that you have for yourself to be better at something. Right. And I think that's a big misconception. Everybody's like, oh, I got a New Year's resolution. Like you said, a couple weeks in, it's done. You look at gym memberships, they skyrocket at the first of the year. And if you go to the gym regularly, it gets crazy. It's busy. But then 2-3 weeks in, it goes back down to the normal amount of people that are there, the people that are regularly there, that are disciplined, that stay with it. So I think differentiating right there, whether or not you're setting a resolution or you're setting a goal, because you should be setting goals. We've talked about goals in the past, what they are. But there's 3 things that I think that are really important with goals. The first is that you've got to identify, what it is you want to accomplish, right? And a lot of you'll hear people out there say, yeah, make your goals like unattainable, something you really got to shoot for. I don't really buy into that, because if you make them unattainable, so far out there, when you don't reach them in a given period of time, it's going to discourage you and you're probably going to fall off of that goal. So I think you need to make attainable goals. Yes, you want to push yourself for sure. You want to give yourself a target that's actually something that you're working towards. It's not something simple that you can do overnight. But like if you want, I'll take the financial side of it, right? If you want to knock out a certain amount of debt this year, you got to say, all right, well, what's realistic? What do I make? How much extra do I have every month? What's a realistic goal for me to be able to knock out? And push yourself. Don't go crazy, but push yourself. So say I want to, I've got, $1,000 extra a month. I want to pay off $12,000 in debt. This year I could do that every month, but I'm going to go work extra. So you say, I'm going to pay off $12,000 by maybe September. You're going to set a timeline. So you need to be specific on what you're going to do, set that number, how much you want to pay off, maybe how much you want to save. And then you need to set a timeline on it. And that's your goal. You've got to have those things in place, because if you just say, I'm going to save some money this year, or I'm going to pay off debt this year. But if you don't put a number to it, something that you can target, something that you can see, that you can go back to and say, nope, I'm falling behind on my goal. I got to work harder. Or, this is great. I'm ahead of my goal. I'm going to get there faster, and then I can get on to my next goal. You're just shooting. You're just shooting blind, and you have no chance of, what's the old saying? I'm drawing a blank on it, but whatever it is you're aiming at, you're going to hit every time. And if you're aiming at nothing, you're not going to hit it. So it's one of those things. You've got to make them realistic. You've got to put a number, whether it's you're losing weight, you're saving money, whatever it is, you got to put a target number on there, and then you got to set a deadline for it to do it. And that, I think, is what will give you the motivation to continue on, push yourself, and not just have a resolution that you end up falling off of in a couple weeks.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I like how you worded all that. In the sense, that having an attainable goal, and from the financial side, paying off X number of dollars that by a certain date, same thing. That means if you got to pick up extra shifts or whatever, extra hours, extra money, bring the income in, however you need to do it. And the same thing goes with a weight loss thing, right? You want to lose 100 pounds, or you want to lose 50 pounds, or you want to train for your first this. Yeah, those are all attainable goals, but having a deadline, right? If it's a race, sign up for the race. I promise you, it'll put some pressure on you to do the training plans. If it's a weight goal, set a date. Hey, I want to be down 32 pounds because I'm at 232 and I want to be at 200. All right, set it for July or set it for August, whatever the case may be. Right. And just like you said with income, you got to go pick up some extra shifts or make a little extra money. Guess what? Those extra things in your fitness journey are, you got to put the donuts down, right? You're not going to eat out 4 nights this week. You're going to change your diet pattern down to 2 nights a week out, or 1 night a week out, or whatever the case may be. You're going to have to know, I got to hit cardio 4 days a week and weights 3 days a week. However it breaks down, you got to break it down into a little bit finer detail than just, like you said, it's just a goal that you're just saying, yeah, this is the goal, right? So I like that. And I like goals. I do. I'm a very self-motivated person. I don't really tend to worry. I don't get worried about goals or not being able to accomplish goals. I'm very self-motivated. But I think that's a fair challenge to throw out there at our listeners for 2023, right? Because however many people listen to us, I don't know. We don't really have a good judge of it, but I know a lot of them are going to say, well, I want to lose weight this year. Or I want to do this, the resolution versus the goal, right? So whatever, my biggest challenge is to tie back into what I said about riding that New Year's wave. Go back to our very first episode ever in Full Force Fathers, right? What did we say? You start right now. Doesn't matter. You have the conversation with yourself in the mirror. You don't got to wait for a Monday or the first day of the month or the first day of the year, or wait till you get paid for your financial goals, right? Start whatever it is that you want to accomplish, start it right now. And that's the difference, because being able to start it on a Tuesday afternoon on December 28th or whatever, or Monday morning on June 1st, it doesn't matter. It's all about starting right then and there. Okay. So whatever your goals, whatever your plans are, give yourself now, right? No better time than a 4-day head start, right? The hell with waiting until Sunday. Give yourself a head start and start today, right? Just go now. Just go late. If it's a fitness goal, lace up your shoes and go out now.
Yeah. What's holding you back? I mean, because chances are you're going to stay up late on New Year's Eve, and then you're going to sleep in and probably not going to end up going to the gym on New Year's Day anyway. You're going to drink. You might as well start now. Yeah,
you're going to drink too much on New Year's Eve and be hungover on New Year's Day. Everything you say, it's funny. Everybody's going to start January 1st, but everybody wakes up on January 1st hungover.
Yeah, I told Casey yesterday, right after Christmas, I said, it starts right now. Everything, like the holiday stuff. Yeah, you get sloppy, you start doing things you don't normally do. It's back on it now. And she goes, you're not going to wait till New Year's? Like, I'm not going to wait till New Year's. Who cares? Start now. New Year's is no big deal to me anyway. I don't really enjoy it. So it's going to get started now. We've got 75 hard coming in about a week and a half. And we're starting that again. And then she goes to me, I can't believe you're going to do that here.
It's actually
but granted, we were having that. What's that?
It's actually a week and a day. We start next Wednesday. So.
Oh God, it's a week and a day. It's coming fast. It's coming fast.
It's a week and a day. And I start phase 2. Now I'm going to do 75 days with you.
Yeah.
And I know that Carp did commit, kind of, sort of. I think he did. Which is cool, actually. I got to see Carp just last week. He stopped by for a day on their trip through up to New England for the holiday. So
nice.
Yeah, we start next Wednesday, and I'll be starting with phase 2 because I did phase 1 right before Thanksgiving. I maintained through the holiday season, and January 4th, next Wednesday, Finley's birthday, will be phase 2 for me, and you'll be starting 75 hard from the beginning again. So I'll do my 30 days of phase 2. And then it'll just be 45 more days of 75 hard for me while you get through it. And so there you go, guys. Those that listen, if you've heard us talk about 75 hard enough, why not just do it? We're not starting on January 1 like everybody else. I'm just an OCD person. This will be the 3rd year in a row that I've started on Finley's birthday.
And here's the funny thing. Casey goes, I can't believe you're going to do that here where it's cold. I've had a Kush cakewalk in Arizona for the last couple of years doing it. So boy, it's going to test my mettle doing it here. If we got another 0 degree day, it's not going to be pretty, but I'm excited to start. For some reason, it makes me like, you get a day like this and it kind of gets me all amped up. And I just, when it's cold, you just want to just run outside and be like, yeah, I got this. Charge into it. So I'm excited to get that started and get that discipline hitting hard again for 75 days. It's going to take us into spring. It's going to be beautiful. March Madness is going to come around by the time it's wrapping up. So there's so many good things to look for. What better way to pass the shitty winter by 75 hard?
Yeah, no, and that's it, guys. That's a challenge, right? Go make 2023 your full force year. Make this be the year. Start today, but make 2023 be your year. All right, go balls to the wall in everything that you ever wanted, anything you've ever dreamed for. If you got to start at the beginning of the year, then I'm right there on you. I'm your biggest cheerleader. But go all in 2023. Yep. All right, anything you want, anything you can ever dream of, because if you want it bad enough, if you work hard enough, and if you create the discipline and you become disciplined enough, nothing is going to stop you. All right. There's so many different cliche lines we can use. Make this your full force life year. Make it go full force this year. All gas, no brakes, as Dave knows. That's been kind of one that I've been hanging on for the last few months now. Dude, just go all in. Go all in. Don't just dip your toe in the water. Jump in and go and just full steam ahead, man. Because if you want to make more money than you ever have next year, if you want to be in better physical shape than you've ever had been next year, if you want a better relationship with your family, with God, with anything, it's up to you. You got to do it. You got to do the work, but you got to go all in on it. And I promise you, it will be there. If you work hard enough, get yourself an accountability partner. I've said that 100 times on the show. Get a team around you, get a group around you, like the Bible verse says. Get out there, meet people. Like, make 2023 your year. Like, I got so much built up inside me for 2023. Like, it is going to be my best year. As arrogant as that sounds, 2023 will be my best year of all time. And it's not even going to be close.
Yep. Amen. Amen. Anything else you want? Or you want to roll into the book recommendation?
The book recommendation ties into everything we've been talking about, so roll right into it.
Here it is. It is called The Ideal Team Player. And you've got your copy there. Patrick Lencioni. This book is phenomenal. I just read this book recently. And it talks all about team. It's really about building a culture at an organization. They had a builder company, essentially. They built hospitals, apartment complexes, all sorts of big things. It was about a new CEO who came in for his uncle. He was replacing his uncle, and he was working with the two top people at the company to identify the best way to hire new people, build a team that worked well together, because they had so much turnover in the organization. They had people that hated working together. So they were trying to identify, what were the main things that would cause a team to really run smoothly, operate more efficiently with less people. And they ended up coming up to three things, right? And they said, these are the three things that every person in our organization needs to have. And they are, you need to be humble, you need to be hungry, and you need to be smart. Not smart in the sense like book smart, right? Not like, you can do calculus really well or physics, things like that. Being smart means being people smart, being able to talk to people, interact with people, know how to handle situations with people. And they said, if you read people, right? And they said, if you don't have those, if you're not humble, if you come in arrogant, you think you're better than everybody else, you're not going to fit. It doesn't work. You have to be humble. You have to understand that everybody that is on your team is as good as you are. Okay. So you got to be humble, hungry. You've got to want it. You got to come in. You got to want it every day. Pick up whatever needs to be done. You got to be the guy or the girl to do it, regardless of what it is. And then, like we said, smart. You got to be people smart. You got to be able to interact. If you have all those things, you'll have a team that operates better, has better culture, and fits well together. If you're missing one, you can't do it. Now you can work on these. So if you have people that are missing one of these, you can coach them up. The hardest one to coach up is humble. That's the one that he identified as the one that's the hardest to change, because either you're that type of person or you're not. It still can be changed, but it's harder. But you could teach somebody to be hungry. Maybe they just haven't been in that situation before. Maybe they're not sure what that looks like. Maybe they haven't been encouraged to do it. And you could teach people how to be better with people as well through coaching and counseling, things like that. But those are the three. If you have those, you've got a great team and something to really be proud of, a good culture. So that was the book recommendation. I don't know if you've read it as well. I don't know if you have anything else you want to add to it, but The Ideal Team Player, it's a quick, easy read, and it's really damn good. If you're an entrepreneur, if you have your own team, if you're building a team, if you're building something, if you're a coach of a kids team, this is a great book to read, because it's going to give you a lot of insight as to what it takes to put a winning team together.
Yeah, no, I don't have anything much to add. I mean, it's funny because Dave did not know that I had read this book, and I did not know that this was the book he was picking. So it's pretty cool to know. And I got it from my CEO when I switched companies in March. This book is the first thing they give you. My CEO sent this to me, and I think it's a great book. Culture is everything. And one loose wheel can derail the whole damn thing. And as you can see, what happens in this book, if you read it, when two people don't get along, and even though they need to get, they don't think they need each other, but you don't really realize it until you realize it. And I do love how he went outside of the company to hire the new CEO, you know what I mean? Which was cool. Versus, because his kids really they weren't really involved and whatnot. So, but no, it's a great book. I don't have anything much else to add. I love the humble, hungry, smart thing. It's the truth. We all got to be a little more humble. You got to be hungry, no matter what it is. You got to be hungry. You got to be hungry. And then the smart thing.
Yeah.
Listen, book smarts, street smarts. Everyone's got a little bit of each.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
That's it on my end.
Good episode. We have wrapped up 2022.
Mm-hmm. We have. It's been a good year. It's going to be a great year next year. If this year was good, next year is going to be great. If this year was great, next year is going to be legendary. So live your life full force all the way. Sir. Be safe this weekend on New Year's Eve. You got a few days between now and New Year's to get those goals, get those ideas written down on paper. And hey, can I mention something? Is this going to be your new studio?
I think it has to be. I don't think I have another place in the house that could, maybe my bedroom.
I love the Emmys.
I don't know if those are still going to be there. They're kind of there because we've got Christmas decorations in a couple other areas. But hey, thanks for pointing those out. 3 of them, in case you couldn't see them. 3. Hey, and this right here, this sign showed up in the mail. I can't believe you spent $17 to ship me a sign. Did you know that that's how much it costs to ship it?
I didn't even know you got that. I saw that in the video and I said, Andine made that sign. How the hell did he get that sign? Andine made it. So at some point, she went and shipped it, and I had no clue.
I love it. She did. And there was 17 and some change.
Yeah, no, so, I didn't know.
I can't believe your cheap ass spent that money to ship something.
First of all,
but now it makes sense because you didn't know.
I didn't know. I never would have sent it. I would have drove it to you for $17 versus I would have drove it to you versus shipping it. The post office. Listen, you really want to chat my ass? Talk to me about the post office. There is nothing in this world that pisses me off more than the post office. My father-in-law is a retired postman for like 40,000 years. The hell with that place. It's a shithole. Donald Trump was right. It's been mismanaged for years. And I tried to mail something and they tried to charge me $4 to send an envelope. I don't care if you like Donald Trump or hate him. He's right about the post office. That place is a shithole and has been mismanaged for years.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, we shipped a package to Connecticut. They said it was going to be there Thursday. I still don't think it's gotten there.
It's robbery, man. That place robs
the post office.
Blind.
Highway robbery. Yep. I told Casey back in Arizona I would never go to the post office again. I can't stand it.
Yeah.
It's awful. Most of the time it's miserable people. They charge you too much and they're always late. No thanks.
You know what the other thing about the post office that pisses me off more than anything in the whole world is their lack of consistency. They are such dirtbags. I've mailed something from a post office in Tucson that was $20. And then I went to the Oro Valley post office and it was $60. I went to the Virginia post office and it was $23. I mailed a freaking card in the mail and it was a stamp. And then I got a return to postage. It was $4. I went to the post office and it was an extra stamp. So go figure. Their consistency is shit. I can't stand them. That's my rant on the post office. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I would just say if anybody's out there that goes to the post office and you listen to our show on a regular basis, share the show with the people at the post office. Consistency, discipline might help them out. We might get packages sooner, and they might be the same price. So, anyway, I digress. I think we're still actually recording, so we probably ought to wrap this up.
Yeah, wrap this up.
So listen, everybody, get out there. Keep living the full force life. It's been a great 2022. We look forward to an even better 2023.